All right, first off, just want to say thank y'all for being here today. Did want to talk about Rashad Byrd. I know we released it on social media. He was fine after the game. Neck strain. It was more precautionary reasons that he was carted off the field. I know it was a very scary moment, and people had reached out about that. So I just wanted to make sure that everybody knew that he's doing better. And not sure about his status this week. We'll keep kind of day-to-day with him, but he will have a chance to play. So we just got to see how that goes. As far as the game goes, disappointed in what the result was. Game was really two different tales. You start the game and you get a fourth down stop by the defense. Offense goes down, gets a field goal, and then they drive down, get a touchdown. We drive down and we get stopped on downs, and then just a few plays there, and all of a sudden it's out of hand. It's 35-10 before you know it, and a lot of reasons for that. Things that we've got to get corrected on the field, things that we got to make sure that we are coaching better. We either allowing it to happen or we're coaching it to happen. So we got to do better. Then our guys hung tough. For after 35-10, they go 23-3, but it ends up not being enough, and we end up coming up that short. And that was the tale of that game, the little things. And those are the things that we're going to make sure that we address this week. Going into this game, obviously we got to turn our mind to Georgia State. We got to understand that 6 is not enough, and we got to go try to get number 7. And we got to have that 0-0, 1-0 mentality. And we got to put this one behind us, and we got to make sure that it does not beat us twice. A lot of respect for their coaches and players up there. Some history with their coaches. Obviously in recruiting, know a little bit of their players. Obviously our teams know each other, so that's what makes this fun, and looking forward to a great challenge this coming weekend.
Coach, we know you like to be on social media, so after a loss, how do you handle the negativity?
I have some thoughts on social media, and I'm on it. There's a couple different reasons. I'm on social media for recruiting purposes. I'm on social media also because I do believe I have a platform. I believe God has given me a platform, and I like to use that. And so obviously I am on social media, and I see things, and I see the positives, I see the negatives. I think that's the great thing about college football, and I think that's the great thing about fans. They have that right. They're fans, and they get the opportunity to say the things that's on their mind. And so no issues with that. I think it's a good thing. I mean, it's definitely, sometimes you got to battle it in recruiting if you get negative fans on there, and but that's okay, because then we tell our recruits, man, this is how passionate our fan base is. So definitely do that. I know I did make a comment on social media to one of the reporters. I think it's important. I'm fine with if people want to come after me and want to attack me, because I know what defines me. But I take exception to our players. Those guys come in here every day. They work at it. They want to win, and when they don't win, I hate that they get questioned. But it's part of it, and they need to know that. I mean, that's part of it. But I will always take up for them because I know how much work they put into it, and I know what they do.
Coach, you alluded to we have 6, we want 7. How important is it, do you feel like, to get that 7th win to make sure, I mean, you're bowl eligible, but, to bring that 7th victory would probably assure you of not being left out?
Getting bowl eligible is important. I mean, you got to get to 6 wins, or it's not going to matter anyway. But because of the situation right now, I mean, you still got a Troy team that can go get to 6 wins. You got a ULM team that can get to 6 wins. There's only 5 bowls for the Sun Belt, and so I mean, you could end up with 7 teams bowl eligible, and so 2 are going to get left out. Being a 6-6 football team does not guarantee anything, and our guys understand that, and we talked about that last week. We talked about how important getting that win would be for us. We didn't get it, so now our backs are against the wall even more. We got to go get it done to make sure we secure a spot. At Georgia Southern, man, 6 wins ain't enough, 7 wins ain't enough, 8 wins ain't enough, 13 wins ain't enough. I promise you. So we know we got to win every week, and that's what we intend to do each week.
Coach, there's plenty of rivalry here. I mean, you don't need a whole lot of influence for this game, but how much do you think it bothers your team that y'all have never beat Georgia State at Paulson Stadium?
You know, I would think the seniors would take exception to that. I think I think our team should. I mean, Paulson, we talk about the power of Paulson. We talk about winning every game in Paulson, and you know, and that's what this place has been. You know, when you look at that record here at Paulson, regardless of who the opponent is, that's something that's very important to us. So obviously never have beaten them at our home stadium. You know, that hurts, and so we want to try to correct that. We want to try to go get that done this week.
Coach, usually this time of the year, going into the last week of the regular season, you've got a pretty good beat on what teams do. You've got plenty of film, but Georgia State in a different situation, playing with the same quarterback but with a significant injury. Have you seen anything that they're changing up, or maybe something that you might have thought you had to prepare for a month ago that's going to have to be fixed on the fly or change up on the fly this week?
Well, we really haven't prepared for Georgia State other than, you know, as soon as the Arkansas State game was over. I mean, if we're doing that, man, we got the wrong thing going. I mean, we got to get prepared every week for our opponent. But obviously, we're looking at film of what they did before he got hurt, and but what I'll say is what Coach Elliott and the offensive coordinator, Coach Glenn, the thing that I think they do a good job of is I think they play to the strengths of their players. You know, obviously being a torn ACL, now it's a different deal for Ellington, but they're putting him in a situation to be successful. So I think we have to put a lot of stock in the last 2 football games as far as watching him. We do have to be mindful of what happened before the injury, just because we know that's in their arsenal to do, and they may do it with him, or they may bring another quarterback in and do it. I don't know. So we got to be prepared for that. We can't not prepare for it. So again, I think we got to put a lot of stock in the last 2 games if he's the quarterback out there, and kind of go from there on it.
Coach, you mentioned Rashad Bird and his injury, but you've got a lot, and I know a lot of people do this time of year. Can you kind of comment on where you guys stand with a lot of the different players and who might be ready for Saturday and who may not?
You know, there is a long list, you know, and probably a little bit, it's injuries every year, and especially this time of year. It's probably a little bit more abnormal than most years. You know, if I read off everybody that's got dings and dangs, then we'll be here all day. But, you know, 2 guys I think important. We expect J.D. King to be back. We expect Jared Leeds to be back. Rashad, we're constantly looking at him, you know, day to day. Hopefully he'll be back. I don't know that. You know, Kendall was able to play last week, so, you know, it's good to have him back. So, and then, you know, this week, we're not going to have Matt LaRoche. You know, he got knocked out of the game with a concussion, and so he's a guy that we're not going to have this week. But we got a lot of guys banged up, but, man, the guys that step in and try to step up, they're doing a great job, so we'll keep up with that next man up mentality.
Coach, officiating-wise, there's been a lot of tough calls this season. How do you and the team just kind of handle the frustrations around it and try to move forward?
You know, I had been asked after the game about the officiating last game. You know, I'll probably just stay away from that question. You know, I got 2 daughters that I'm probably going to have to pay for weddings, and I have 3 children that I'm probably going to have to pay college educations for. So I'll probably stay away from talking about the officiating.
Coach, just quickly break down for us what weapons on the offense for Georgia State and what do you see on their defense?
Well, you know, when you start looking at Georgia State's offense, again, Coach Glenn does a tremendous job with them and putting their guys in position to make plays and keeping you on your toes. You know, definitely their running back, number 5. He does a tremendous job running the football. He runs with a purpose. He has intent. You know, obviously Ellington is a good player, and regardless of the injury, he can still make plays for them. So, and then they got a receiver core. But I'm telling you, I'm very impressed with their offensive line. That's something that I think, looking at them from last year to this year, I think they have gotten better there. Very athletic, guys that get after it. So those are guys, I mean, and that's why they're putting up numbers, and that's why they're putting up points. They're making that thing go. Defensively, they run an odd front, similar to what we do. They like to bring a lot of four-man pressures with edge guys, things like that. When you start talking about them as far as the numbers go, the guys that stick out to me, the inside linebacker, number 6, safety, number 9, nose tackle, 52, 37 and 90. Those guys really jump out to me on film. And I know how Coach Elliott coaches. He coaches with a lot of passion. He'll have those guys ready to go, and I know they'll play hard and they'll play fast against us.
Coach, how much are you looking forward to one more home game? I know it's a interesting weekend, Thanksgiving weekend, but looking to pack Paulson one more time this season.
Yeah, Paulson is a special place, and it's a special place to our players, and it's a very special place to our seniors. And that's why, and I know it's a tough week because it's Thanksgiving week, and you don't have any school, but I'd like to ask all the students that that can come on back. That's why we wanted that night game, to make it a little bit later so you could enjoy your Thanksgiving and come on back. And hopefully we'll get that. And then obviously Eagle Nation, love for y'all to show up. We hadn't had a lot of great weather this year, and that's kind of hurt us a little bit. And with that, but the people that have been showing up, man, it's been powerful. Love to see a full stadium for this football team and for these seniors. And it means the world for us in recruiting. This game day atmosphere at Georgia Southern is something special now when it's rocking and rolling. And, we're going to have a lot of great recruits here. And, that's important. That you can ask our seniors. There's a lot of guys that came to school here because of what they felt, because of that atmosphere of Paulson. So really hoping that will happen this weekend.
Coach, you mentioned the seniors. It will be senior night. So how would you describe your group of seniors?
I tell you, this bunch, man, 2016, 5-7, and then 2017 going 2-10, and then a miraculous turnaround last year to be able to go 10-3. And then, you get to this season, and it's not quite the 10-3 season, There's a lot of adversities, a lot of things to have to overcome. And for this class, when you start looking at the full 4 to 5 years that they've been here, they've seen a lot, they've been through a lot, and they've continued just to work, scratch, claw, and just trying to make sure Georgia Southern football has a product that everybody's proud of. So very proud of what they've done and what they've accomplished, and hopefully get this game, hopefully, get that bowl game, get 2 more with them, and send them out the right way.
What's your go-to Thanksgiving meal dessert?
Man, Thanksgiving meal dessert Thursday night. Well, if I had, there's no question to that. There's a lot of different desserts that run through my mind right now. But if I could just have my grandma's banana pudding, that would be unbelievable. And when you bring that up, it makes me want to just make that drive up there and maybe get that. So might do that. Thank y'all. GATA.